The 9-hour podcast. CBSI presents Tales from Flipside 53. We are on and live today. This is Tuesday, not Monday. We had some technical difficulties last night. I'm Dino. We're going to talk about some grading, video game grading from Heritage, concert ticket grading, Harley Quinn stuff. Are comics too expensive? So, boys, introduce yourselves.
Hey, P-Dubs here with my friend James Beam.
Nice.
Scotty Too Hottie coming in from Philly.
Oh, apparently it's me, Z from Indy with a little bit of distraction at the moment. So
this is Brian McClay. I just want to give a shout out to one of the people who I think is getting better and better every day in the game, and that's Simple Man's Comics. I know he's not here right now, but he really is killing it, and I just want to give a shout out to him and say thank you, man. Would appreciate everything you do, and keep it up.
You would.
Nice. We're gonna. So I guess Paul told us earlier before the show started that some guys have been commenting that this is their favorite segment, so we're gonna bring it back every time. Is the old pickups? Pickups. Everybody's got loves pickups. So
yeah, I know that one show we took quite some time on it, so we'll keep it short and sweet. But we didn't want to leave anybody hanging because we do it for you, the fans.
Do you want to go first, buddy?
Yeah, man, I'll go first. Okay. I picked up off eBay. Someone in one of our group chats sent out a link to this Detroit fanfare with the man Stan on it, and I got it for a good price. I picked up a couple actually, and I just figured, why not? Sleepy John sent me this turtle book that I'd never seen before, so he offered that to me, and I said, yeah, just send it my way, and so I appreciate that. He hooked me up on something else too. I'll show in a minute. And then I didn't know that these were coming out. My LCS didn't give me a heads up. I'm kind of bad on previews and things. But IDW is doing a 20 for 20 series. So these turtle ones came out. I picked those up off eBay. They're doing Star Trek as well, and I think a couple other series of theirs. And I picked up the variant, Comics Pro variant of Silk.
Oh, nice.
A little while ago, and I think that's going to be a 9.8, so we'll keep that in the top loader. Following up, Stein's random pickup from a while ago. I hunted down one of those Jurassic Park IDW variants, and I have a couple other sketches from that series in the mail.
Who was the sketch by again?
Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, right.
Thanks for the save, Dino. I don't know. So I don't know what kind of mood I was in the other day. But I told Ben C about this, but I think he's listening live. But I picked up between my comic shop and Amazon the whole series, reprint series. Don't get those confused. Of entire crime suspense stories.
You picked up the whole run?
The whole run, I went for it. I just.
How many issues is that?
26 maybe.
Oh, you went hog.
And so Sleepy John, and what started off is Sleepy John posted a pickups post in a chat, just, hey, I found these, and this was one of those books, and I was like, damn it, and so I went out searching, and I found all of them except this one, hard to find. So he hooked me up with that. So shout out to John for helping me complete this run in a matter of minutes. So those all shipped, and they're all here, and that's PC for me. But I know they're the reprints. I mean, there's no way you get the whole run.
That's so cool.
So that's it.
Cool. You get to read them now, and not be afraid of ruining $1,000 book.
Yeah, and Ben said to read them too.
Yeah, they look interesting. So for sure.
Who wants to go next? Because I don't have any pickups. So.
I got a couple little things.
Okay. Do it up, brother.
I've been itching for some breaking some wax, so I went out and bought 2 boxes of these bad boys. I don't know if you guys remember Marvel Masterpiece 1992. Marvel trading cards. They're all hand painted by Joe Jusko.
What is the what are the hits in there? Are there autographs? I can't remember. Is there foil cards?
Foil cards.
Okay.
There's not that many hits, but there's the graded ones seem to be going for a lot of money. So hoping I can get something.
What did those run you?
I think it was like $80 a box.
And it's signed, right?
Yeah, these one. Yeah, that's the problem. Now I don't know if I should open them. They're friggin' signed by Joe Jusko. So.
And are they signed on the cellophane?
No, they're signed on the box, and then
that's cool.
I think it got shrink wrapped afterwards. And I mean, the seal. There's a seal on there, and
you could have those graded, right? Those boxes graded. Yeah, you can send them PSA or I can't remember, but CBCS does a thing, or I mean not CBCS, Jesus. Baseball Card Exchange will do a thing where they'll help grade boxes and set them up so
they must put them in the same containers they put some of the toys in then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. And then I don't remember who posted a link for this, but it sounded like an interesting story. So I just got this in the mail. Sarah by Garth Ennis from TKO. I think it's issues 1 through 6. I'm going to open it up now. It's pretty neat packaging. I paid like $20 for it.
My man came with a knife. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's got shrink wrap around it, so and a little seal of approval. So I think this is just like I don't know if it's anything special. The story sounded interesting. Oh, these are big books. So I think it's a sniper in World War II, a Russian sniper, I believe.
Yeah, I think she was like really famed, and they put her up on a pedestal type thing to get more people to join. Or
yeah, I think
did that just come out, or is this a?
Yeah, this just came out. I think you can order it on their website.
Interesting way to
it's a collection of individual books.
Yeah, it's all 6 of them.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Were they released individually, or only this?
No, you can only get them online, and I think they're mainly releasing digitally.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Wow, that's a nice art.
Angle that down a little bit.
Yeah, those are great.
Man, when Wood's back on, we'll have to ask him about his that war comic that he was talking about a while ago.
Let's see. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
I know that they're selling a digital version, and this was the only way to get issue 1. And I think they have a trade paperback. So it sounded like an interesting read. Garth Ennis is I like his stuff, so I figured to give it a shot.
Good to see Epting doing some stuff. I haven't really heard much of him since Captain America, but I haven't been paying attention.
These are big. Oh wow, these are big books too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger than a normal size book.
Those are maybe not going to fit in magazines. Even those are those.
That's like what was that one?
Life magazine size.
You almost you need a stupid life.
Batman Damned.
No, the
Do you have a Batman
Barrier
there too?
Well, it's like the Warrior magazine, and it's the British size magazines.
Okay.
God, the bane of my existence for Mylars.
The only thing they'll fit
Barrier comic.
they'll fit real tight in like a magazine Mylar because they're fairly tall, but they'll be tight.
Okay.
Otherwise, you got to go like Time Life. Yeah, that's a bugger.
So I got a. Are you done, Scott?
Yeah, I'm done. That's it.
I got just a quick one that's kind of a bummer. So I've talked about that I collect the Star Wars action figures, and I really got back into it as most people did with the Power of the Force, the second Power of the Force line that came out in '96, I think, when they started re-releasing them. And Kenner started re-releasing them. I think I can't remember if Kenner got the license then or right before that. Anyways, so they started re-releasing everything, and everybody kind of went crazy. And there were rumors of I think at the time, like the Princess Leia was short packed, and the Billy D. Williams. God dang it! What am I forgetting on the character's name? Lando. Jesus Christ. Gotta chill on the Rick Simpson oil. So the Lando and the Leia were short printed, so everybody went crazy and started collecting all these figures, and they really aren't worth much other than the variants. There's some crazy variants. There's some cool Boba Fett variant. There's a couple of Jedi with the lightsaber variants and crazy stuff. But this was one of the tougher figures to find at the time. It's really cheap now to get. But unfortunately, because the backings and all and everything and the glue that they used to get them didn't hold so well. This is kind of a bummer. But anyways, let's get to it. So when they released Jedi, or it was the trilogy in the theaters, the first night, 97, the first night for Return of the Jedi, at select theaters, they were giving out a Luke as the Jedi. You guys can see it says, and this was a really tough figure back then to find, but I got it, and as you can see, it looks okay, and it looked okay on the eBay listing, and I got it really cheap. But then when I got it home, so that really bummed me out. So I'm gonna be looking for a new one. You can see the star case that he had in it was really yellow, and I just was so bummed. But this was a really cool promotional figure that they handed out that at the time was really tough to get, and there's a bunch of them on eBay. I'll end up picking up another one, but most of them have this problem where
I was gonna say, I mean, there's nothing. It's just age, right?
Yeah, it's just age. So that's kind of a bummer, but
you would figure you'd put loose in there, right, or something like that.
Yeah, you know, I almost wonder if it was okay, and then when he shipped it, it just, you know, I paid $20 for it, so I'm not worried too much about it, but it's just kind of a bummer. So
I will never ship an action figure again.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it.
I packed the heck out of one, like triple boxed and everything, and it still got the shell got dented, and the guy's like, it's ruined. I'm like, son of a bitch, I don't know how to pack it at that point. I have done all I could. Yeah,
it can be tough. And even I sold I got started on eBay selling the Marvel Legends. I would go and, you know, I worked a manufacturing job where I was like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and we'd go on out breaks every once in a while. I'd go hit up all the 24-hour Walmarts as they were, you know, pulling the figures out of the boxes, and I go pull the variants and sell them. And even with those figures, I mean, you had to be really careful about packaging them, and they were, you know, they were like tanks. So action figures, they can make a ton of money in it. I know we'll be talking about it more and more here coming up, and we've talked about it a little in the past, and I know a lot of people have made money recently on the Spider-Man 2099 Spider-Man Classics variant that we talked about early on, and DeVoe probably wants to kill me for talking about, but stuff like that, there's good money in those action figures.
That market's started to stabilize. I've seen the prices kind of drop.
Well, still, I think once that if you can find a high grade of those, that's a tough book to find no matter what.
I've had 3 or 4. I opened a couple, and one was maybe a 9.6. One was rough because this just got a lot of bend points. I got one sitting in the box that I stare at, and I'm like, maybe it's a 9. You just can't quite see around one corner, and I'm just like, I don't know what's better to do, leave it or take it out.
Yep.
So. Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair is February 16th through 19th, so I'm sure we'll do some sort of recap for that coming up.
Okay.
Who's next for pickups?
I think it's just me, and I just got one book. Yeah, of course, I'm going to go way off the grid. Picked up a foreign variant, El Halcyon Negro. The reason I grabbed it, this one is terrible, is it is a, I don't know, a ripoff, a swipe, a partial use of a famous Frank Frazetta cover from Famous Funnies 210. So it is not the exact same cover because, as you see, they kept the monster, but they redid the guy and took out a lot of the details. So it was just a real intriguing piece, and this is one of my favorite Frazettas to begin with. So I thought it was worth a few bucks.
I would show my Frazetta pickup, but it's kind of X-rated. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe.
I meant to ask you about that one.
Yeah, after hours reveal.
Yeah, maybe after the show. I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. So.
Brian, someone in the chat was asking what we think about the Star Wars Black series.
I was actually just typing that. I love the Star Wars.
The early stuff was a lot better than
I really love the Star Wars Black stuff. It's just, you know, when you went down that rabbit hole when those first came out in '96, I got a whole, you know, room upstairs that's, you know, just tubs and tubs of the figures from the first release, the re-release of the Power of the Force '96, all the way up until, you know, the first. Let me see here. Probably when they're just starting the Black series. So when you've already been down that rabbit hole, it's hard to keep going. But I wish those Black series, they were releasing them back when I was crazy into it, because they're absolutely gorgeous. And I really like
those first 2 waves of the 6-inch were amazing.
Yes. The Vader one I really remember was the Vader, the electrocution Vader. That was absolutely beautiful.
I actually have a couple.
Yeah.
Let me go grab them.
The Boba Fett's are always great in any figure line. So yeah, they're absolutely amazing. I kind of got crazy and went down the before the Black series. They had the Star Wars Unleashed, which were basically like the Legends version of Star Wars, which are, some of them were really tough to find, and some of them were just absolutely gorgeous.
I got a Thrawn and a Revan. Yeah,
Revan is one of my all-time favorite characters. I wish I'd have picked up the He's him and Malik and Darth Bane are just great characters. So,
and Thrawn's one of my favorite.
Yeah, you gotta love Shadows. If for anybody out there who hasn't read Shadows of the Empire, that's one of the best books, sci-fi books, yet alone Star Wars books. So, pick up a cheap copy of Shadows of the Empire at any used bookstore. You'll love it. Everything about that book is awesome.
Cool. So after pickups, we are going into one of our main topics tonight. We kind of talked about it last time, but we're going to touch up on it more. Is video game grading is going to be our next topic. This is interesting because kind of touched on it last week. Heritage is actually moving into the video game grading market. So they're putting up auctions right now for a lot of vintage cool video games, and there's like water cases and stuff like that, and sealed stuff, and it's going to be an interesting market they're going to go into. I'm sure Z has many thoughts on this.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Shadi.
Well, like I said before, you put something in plastic and slap a grade on it, I'm in.
So I mean, this Wada grading seems to be a newer grading company, right? Because there was another company doing a lot of this.
Yeah, Wada's newer. There was a company doing it 3, 4, or 5 years ago, even maybe longer. I can't remember. But maybe it was PSA that was part of it.
Yeah,
I think it was. I
guess I'm curious, why did Heritage pick now? You know, is it because of this company pairing with them? Is this what's going to push it kind of into the mainstream, or is it already mainstream and we're just sitting on the outside looking in?
I've seen a lot of people collect video games. I think they're just trying to add more brand recognition to what they got, obviously, for auction wise. I mean, you know, if they can make a couple $100,000 over the year, I mean, that's good for them, obviously. But no, a lot of people like Nintendo, Super Nintendo stuff, sell out really well. And when it comes to grading stuff, I mean, and it's just vintage, old school stuff. A lot of us older guys, and I say older, like mid-30s guys, grew up playing video games like 85, you know, people born 85, 90, you know. So, I mean, that's a big nostalgia factor right now, too, you know.
And what do they grade? Dan Piercy's asking, like, what will they grade? They'll grade the cartridge itself. They'll grade the box with the cartridge.
I think they grade everything. Like,
they'll grade the empty box, too, or no?
You can grade, I think, manual even.
Yeah, you're right. So it's empty box, cartridge only, cartridge with box, and then manual, and then obviously the whole thing together, wrapped and sealed too. So like it actually sealed. You could wrap it unsealed or sealed.
So the original company was VGA, Video Grading Authority, and they actually have a really cool featured item on their site right now. If anybody gets a chance to go to it, they actually, if you guys remember the Atari game E.T., where they destroyed them all.
Oh,
yeah. The city of Alamogordo. Yeah, Alamogordo, New Mexico went in and found the dump where they were buried, and 20 years later pulled some of them out, and the ones that were in the best condition they sent to VGA, and they actually have one. If as a matter of fact, here, let me You want? Can I take over the sharing thing real quick? Is that cool?
Yeah, hit it up, dude.
All right, here we go. So there you guys go. Can you see that?
No.
No. All right, hold on. Let me do this. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So
That was the best one.
I mean that's hilarious right there. I mean, it's got a certificate of authenticity, and it's the box, the game's in there. I mean, they destroyed the whole run just because it was such a shitty game, but that's amazing to me.
Didn't they just like repackage a different game?
Yes, yeah, because I think they couldn't make their deadline. There's a really cool documentary on it, but yeah, so,
it was on Netflix. Mel's asking in a chat if they're great like PS4 games, grade Red Dead or Monster Hunter. I don't think so because it's too. I think there's too many of them. Obviously, yeah. I mean, great games are great games, but when it comes to grading, like, not too many people had Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? I guess a lot of people had Nintendo, but a lot of kids back in the day just ripped cartridges open, didn't care about the box. I mean, there's like a
nobody didn't open these.
Yeah, like a rarity kind of thing at the end of the day.
But I'm sure they would grade the newer stuff. Why wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, they would grade it, but I mean, I don't think I think he meant for investment value. Is it worth it? I don't think it is, but that's just me. I mean, unless you got like some kind of crazy edition, like I mean, I don't even know if you could grade the Spider-Man PS4 like that big of a box. You know what I'm saying? Like the crazy limited editions of that.
I think some of the like very selective, like I sent in the chat a link to that Mass Effect Steelbook Collector's Edition. I mean, asking price is asking price, but I don't know if it's a game with a crazy following and you can get the #1 or the first game Steelbook. I don't know. Depending on the cost, it might be worth it. But from my understanding, the cost to grade these things is pretty high.
Correct.
Yeah. So VGA just basically says in what we grade, they say they primarily focus on Atari 2600, 5200, 7800, NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy, games and systems and accessories, but they'll be able to grade games from other systems. So just inquire with them, and they're trying to work on, I guess, figuring out spotting reseals and fakes. Mm-hmm. But I think if you talk to them, they'll grade just about anything, like most other companies.
I'm gonna send them a sealed NES Power Pad from back in the day.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That was the worst fucking thing ever.
Yeah, when you could figure out that you could just get on your knees and slap it. Was that the Power Pad? The one that came with track and field? Yeah.
Yeah, it had like 9.
What was the one that went on? The Power Glove. That's
the Power Glove, man.
That'd be dope.
Fred Savage, right?
Yeah. That thing did not work like they said it would.
Still cool looking, man.
Dude, the only game that Power Glove worked on was Top Gun.
You guys remember Gyromite?
Oh yeah.
I hated that game.
You know something I've been watching on YouTube is they've been showing a lot like speed runs for games.
Yeah, dude.
World record speed runs, and like some dude beat Zelda in like 26 minutes.
Yeah.
I watched the Mike Tyson Punch Out one.
I watched that too. That was freaking amazing. Like I'm watching it, like there's no defense. Like it's all offense. Like I don't know how they like. I don't know.
I've seen Mario Brothers speed run. It's really interesting. I mean, and when it comes to speed runs, I watch a ton of them too. Like seconds matter. I mean, 1 second breaks a record.
Pick up nothing.
Yeah,
and they find the glitches too.
You find all the glitches, and then there's basically an optimal, like if you like economics, right? So I'm like a big in economics. So there's an optical curve, right? So basically, like at the very top, there's so far you can go to not, I mean, somebody might find a new glitch, but highly unlikely. I mean, these guys play for like hours. I mean, they'll just restart. They'll play on emulators, obviously, and they'll just restart the game if they mess up. I mean, and you could mess up like 99% of the way in and miss something, and just you got to start all the way from the beginning. I mean, there's no like save states. There's no like you got to start. It's like a one life thing. Like you just don't die. You know
what that reminds me of? Do you guys remember when Tony Hawk first came out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Just start, select, restart, start, select. Every time you miss an ollie or something, you start, restart, start, restart.
turn the manual into something and do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Best soundtrack ever, man. It had Sony. They had Sony's sound. They had Sony music behind it.
We got a 1-level demo from like Domino's.
Yep.
We played the shit out of that thing in college.
Yep.
That game changed. That changed the whole industry, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
between
Tony Hawk and GoldenEye and stuff like that. I mean, there's just classic games that moved the NES and just video game culture in general.
that PlayStation and PlayStation 2 really took things to a different level.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess I'm going back to my original question. Is there money to be made on buying them raw and getting them graded and flipping them, or is there not a market yet?
If you can find them. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Honestly, I see a lot of posts on Reddit actually about people who've grandma's house they went to, and they've had like games in like mint condition in boxes for like 80 years, and they just finally went back to grandma's house, and grandma's like, I'm not gonna do these. I'm gonna throw these away if you don't want them, and they have like mint everything because they just put them in like a plastic tub. And
I mean, I remember going to, it would date me on both sides, but I remember going to, man, I don't even know if it was GameStop at the time, but to get the original Pokemon Red and what's that?
Funko Land?
Funko Land, brother.
No, it was something else.
Was it EB Electronics or EB
Games?
EB Games?
I think their logo was rainbow, like rainbow letters. But anyway, I remember going back and I remember going in there with my mom and getting Pokemon Red and Blue. And if you have those sealed today, those are worth bank.
I remember going to, I think EB Games had it. Remember the old CR monitors that had in the cases, like the wood boxes? At least at my mall they did. And they had like a little controller hanging out there. I mean, I'd sit there and my mom would go sit there and like shop, and I'd be playing video games for like an hour or two.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I'm going to interrupt real quick.
Sorry.
So, Dino, you were talking about, your grandma's going to grandma's house and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That I can attest to that fact. I've talked about it before. My mom, once or twice a year, will give me a call and go, hey, we found a box and come pick it up or something. And I've told the story about how she found one year for Christmas, she gave me a toy she meant to give me 20 years before, and it was the original Millennium Falcon from the 77 Star Wars, unopened. So real quick, this is what she called and gave me recently. And this is, I can attest it happened. It's not a video game, but it is a mint condition Transformer Insecticon.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Yeah, perfect condition. And she goes, oh, we just forgot to give it to you when you were a kid.
Thank
So you
God.
can have it now.
Dude,
Wow.
thank God they forgot to give it to you as a kid.
Right.
You're getting that graded, right?
Give her a bunch of ginkgo and be like, what else you forget, Grandma?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's handed me quite a few unopened Garbage Pail Kids packs and the a lot of the Star Wars stuff. I had the Millennium Falcon. I was going to get it graded by AFA, but it was like $800 to get it graded.
Wow.
So I just recently sold it at a little toy fair thing for $700. Made some guy really happy. He was completely freaking out that it was there, and I think I had it up for $1,000, and I just needed the money, so I had been lugging it around forever. So some things you sell just so people can enjoy them.
Yeah.
But that stuff does happen.
I don't mind giving a guy who's going to love it and appreciate it a better deal.
Yes, those are the best kind, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you feel good about it. It's going to someone who's going to appreciate it.
Yes. Yep. So, craziness does happen. Definitely go to your garage sales and maybe ask your mom if she has any.
Hey, don't ask my mom anything. Okay.
I know me and my brother were terrible about what a lot of parents called snooping. So they would try to hide crazy stuff, and they forget about it, and that type of stuff. So I think that's where most of that stuff came from.
I love how everybody we show them something and they just say take it out and play with it, or take it out. It's so funny.
I know.
Hey man, Harden, if you did that, Harden would get 3 free throws, man. Okay?
All right.
That's great, guys. I mean, do we see it like lack of census and inventory and like a false sense of rarity? I mean, I don't even know there's census info for.
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to be there's definitely going to be a false sense of rarity because there's not going to be that many graded out there now. But like Z said earlier, like when CGC books first came out, they were pretty high. Like
those first couple high grade ones, yeah. I mean, Hope 181 was 25K the first time, and then settled down to the range it sat for a decade, and then it's shot back up finally.
Well, I enjoyed looking at the old Wizards, and when CGC first came out, the Wizard would put like, oh, this book graded a 10 and sold for this. And you see like what 10s would grade, every once in a while a 10 would pop up and it'd be like, Amazing Spider-Man 300 raw is $15, but it sold in a CGC 10 for $200, and it's like, what?
Jesus.
Yeah, so you get those old Wizards, you can see your old school CGC 10s.
Well, I talked to an owner that used to be here, and he said, when CGC first came out, he was grading ASM 300s all day long, and turning $100 into 3 or 4.
Yep.
That book is ridiculous. Did you guys see that beater? That literally, it's literally a beater copy sold for like $80. The cover was off, and maybe 60% of it, like it was missing like 40%, and then the inside pages, the staples were all rusted with migration. It was.
Was that 181?
No, it was all ASM 300.
Oh,
yeah,
do you have any of the Mark? Do you have any of the Mark Jeweler? Is there a Mark Jeweler variant for those?
No, there's no. There's a Niagara Falls variant. Like it's not a variant. It's like
it's ultimate, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think
it's a Bagley. Yeah, it's a Bagley cover, and it's like the ultimate style, but it's the inside is yeah. If you look it up,
I mean, I have one.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something different, right? Because I know there's a Niagara Falls ASM 300, and it's got like a blue. It's the ultimate Spider-Man.
It's in my room. It's not in this box.
Yeah, it's not a homage or.
It's like a reprint.
Yeah, but it's Bagley, right?
I don't.
I think so. I think you're right on that.
Yeah. That's a tough book to find, though, right?
Yeah.
I love those promotional books.
They have one. They have that one, and then they have one for $252 as well.
Yes.
Same type.
Yep.
I think it was made for Niagara Falls or something like that, like some convention or some event there.
Yeah, that was when Ultimate was super hot, so they probably had Bagley, throw some crazy covers on. And
there's one more variant for 300, the chromium one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I keep buying those.
Do you have any? You have those? Do you have any of those?
No, I want one. I had one at Baltimore this year, and
something that pisses me off about that, I buy Wizards whenever I see them, if I can buy them for $1 a pop, and I'll come across the Wizard every once in a while where they're in there and it's like $10 a pop. They were selling for like $10 a piece, and people just didn't buy them. So imagine just buying those for $10 a pop. The Amazing Spider-Man #1 chromium and the 300 chromium.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one I'm not gonna have.
No, it's tough to come by. They're just. I actually like the Spider-Man 1 visually more than I like the 300, but
yeah.
I wouldn't throw either of them out of bed,
I want one without the McFarlane autograph. Too many of them, people went and had McFarlane autograph them. Don't get me wrong, McFarlane's autograph is amazing, but it's becoming that Stan Lee autograph, I think, to me.
I saw one 2 years ago at Baltimore when I went to Baltimore 2 years ago, and some guy had a PGX 9.6 or 9.4, and he got it graded and came back a CGC 9.8.
Nice.
Yeah, he just took it off a wall and sent it to him, and I don't know. It's crazy.
Cats are getting it.
Oh, in the back? Oh yeah, brother. They just love it, dude. They just play with each other the whole day, man. He's just looking at me. He's over in the corner, just stalking his prey.
Since you brought up resubbing, the 31st is the last day to postmark on the CGC crossovers on their promo deal when they started it. I think the prices stay the same, the discount prices, but they're not going to offer the pre-screening of the higher tiers, and they're not going to offer the discount if it goes down a grade.
How much money do you think they made off that?
I don't know. I just sent them a couple $100 worth of books to redo. It's worth it. I had some decent books that I'm gonna take a bigger hit after that Spider Gwen bullshit. It's not worth it.
Don't tell Paul to resub books, please.
Paul, you're not allowed to. Only those of us with not problems can do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I sent in a Brave and the Bold 8.5 CBCS.
The 54, right?
The 54, the Teen Titans.
Yep.
I'm like, I would take a discount of the same price as an 8 if I try and sell it CBCS. If it comes back an 8 CGC, I'm neutral. Comes back the 8.5, I'm ahead. And if it comes back a 9, some miracle, then I'm really happy as shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, CBCS grades are tight. They really are.
In the older books, you got a little wiggle room. They could hit. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I struggled, and I threw it in the box last minute as I'm regrading my Losh 23. I was never going to do it because I'm like, I'm not gonna sell it. I'm okay with the case. And then I'm like, you know what? If I don't do it now, it's never getting done. So I just threw it in.
Taking risks, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike threw some books in, but it was a lot of mid-grade, kind of silver, and he had some PGXs. I had just some stuff like that. I wasn't going to risk it too much on modern 9.8s. That Losh was the only one I did that on.
Yeah, it's very risky cracking 9.8s and thinking you're going to get a 9.8 again.
Yeah, I mean, the Losh I felt pretty confident in. I had a Granov Moon Knight I showed off the other week, and I don't feel good about it. It's got a little color rub, and I don't think it'd come back a 9.8, so I didn't do it. The only one I'm real kind of intrigued on is I sent in a Tick 1, the black cover one, the CBCS 9.6. I thought comes back CGC 9.6, I'm happy, and if it happens to skip up to the 9.8, I'll be ecstatic because there's only like 4 of them. So
yeah, I mean, you only really need a one grade bump to really make it.
even the 9.6, I haven't looked at the census in a while, but it's 9.6 I think is in the single digits too, because that is a tough book with being oversized and being black cover and.
Our boy Flacco's got that 300 foil from Mexico, I guess. Sorry, I don't know what that means.
I haven't seen that yet. I have to look at that. Big shout out to Dan Piercy. Yeah, it's getting to that point in Arizona right now where I got to start turning on the fans, and maybe the AC unit will be coming on soon because it's hitting the 80s. So just let you guys who are braving that negative 10-degree weather out there get a little jealous.
Tony's at -17 today.
Yeah.
Us Midwest boys are going -10 tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, all the schools are shut down. They shut down today, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yep. It's gonna be crazy. We had snow too, but let's see. So Mr. McClay, we got this one for you, buddy. We're doing concert tickets, and and people, I know people do this. They collect old concert tickets from like Nirvana, but getting them graded.
Yeah. So, the concert ticket thing kind of started with the sports ticket thing. Everybody was grading sports tickets when PSA decided to start grading stuff. I had a couple graded. This is one I had graded. I'm a New York Giants fan, and this was Super Bowl 25, the hologram. Let's see here. Can you guys see that? The hologram version to show up very, very well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it was the first Super Bowl ticket with the hologram on it. So I had this graded. I just got it graded authentic. You can have PSA grade their authentic, and it's just the stub. It's not the full ticket. So, but I ended up, at the same time buying some to get graded. This is the first Super Bowl win in '87. And then I had these two. They're the full tickets when Eli beat the Patriots. So I'm gonna send these.
No.
I'm gonna send these into PSA to get graded. But real quick, what I wanted to talk about was the craziness that's going on with some of the concert tickets. And Dino talked about the Nirvana stuff, and I'm gonna share some cool stuff here real quick. Let me get this going. So, if you guys, let's see here, if you guys get a chance, go do some research and look at some of these tickets. But here's, as you can see, the last concert in Munich, PSA graded. He has it up there for 5,700. But how cool would something like this be? I know we all have our stories for people that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and I have my story about wanting to see Nirvana, and the only time they came out here to Phoenix that I remember at that age was they played at the fairgrounds, and I wish I would have kept that ticket. But this is a beautiful ticket stub, and 1.5, but the price on it, I mean, imagine what you could sell some of that for. Here's another really cool Nirvana one. This is something that I actually was thinking about getting just because it's a full ticket. I think that's just gorgeous. Ticket stubs really look good, especially when they're full. When they're graded, PSA does a really good job. You can get some really cool. One of the cool things that I fell in a rabbit hole about trying to find out is you can get stubs of racehorses. And there's guys out there that collect winning tickets, triple crown winners.
That's cool.
So Seattle Slew and
do those cases I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm looking at it, and do they protect from aging and yellowing and all that?
Yeah, they're UV graded or UV protected. But it's just like anything else. You got to be careful. You got to be careful about humidity and stuff. But yeah, they protect about as best as some of the CGC stuff. As far as I remember and I can tell. But that's. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And they're so tough to do too. I mean, because nowadays you don't even get ticket stubs; you get pieces of paper. So I mean, there's a lot of people who used to put staples on their wall, or thumbtacks on their walls. Every concert they ever went to, and I mean,
this is a really cool one that Led Zeppelin fans know about. I grew up a big, huge Led Zeppelin fan, and this is a very famous concert that they ended up canceling in Chicago when John Bonham passed away, and a couple of years ago, the promoter had all the ticket stubs left, and they were all 100% complete. So they released them, and they would sell them, and you can get those graded. And those are a really famous show, obviously, Chicago Stadium that ended up getting canceled because of John Bonham passing away. And to me, that's something very cool to get graded on PSA. And you can see this one's in a really cool plaque, but I really love the PSA grading and stuff like that. So.
Here, let me. While you're talking about tickets, hold on one second. Let me show you what I got. Hold on one second.
Go for it. Stop sharing here. But the ticket thing can be very profitable. If you guys, like I said, look at some of those. Start thinking outside the box. I mean, how cool is that to have a triple crown winning tickets? Especially if you won money off them recently. Very few horses have won the Triple Crown, and especially, if you have a Secretariat ticket out there, and that's something pretty amazing to own. I grew up a horse person too. My mom had horses when I was growing up, and I remember hearing stories about some of those horses. Obviously, Secretariat and Seattle Slew, and some of those horses, and in that world, some of those horses are considered, the Babe Ruth and the Joe DiMaggio. So, to have those graded tickets are pretty cool. So. Think outside the box with some of that stuff. You can make some good money on it, and you can also find cool collectibles.
So check this out. I won this at an auction down at Red Wings Joe Louis Arena when I had it. Let me move this over here. So basically, it's massive, dude. Check this out. Let's see if I can make this on. So basically, I went to this game. It's like the 2014 Winter Classic, and I'm in the front row in this picture, down in this area down here. So that's what I wanted to talk about tickets. So it's got the ticket in there and stuff.
That's very cool.
That's not my ticket, but it's cool. You can see me actually in a picture. So
well, I think I think that's one of the coolest things, especially if they're games you've been to.
Yeah.
I have a couple stubs that I'm sending in. I was at the Game 6 NBA Finals in Phoenix when Paxson hit the shot, broke my heart, but that was a cool game. So I have 4 ticket stubs from that I'm sending in. I was at the game here when the Knicks and the Suns got into that huge brawl. Anthony punching KJ. So I'm going to send those in, and just cool games that, the first football game that you went to, I know I kept the stubs from those games. And even if they're stubs, that's still cool to have. And to,
I should try to find the Rumble in the Palace of Ron Artest.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, there's some of those games, some of those cool things that have happened. I mean, people out here talk about, Randy Johnson a lot. How cool would it be to have the one where he killed the bird?
That would be a cool one.
Yeah, right. John Rocker or just silly stuff. Kurt Schilling, the blood game, whatever, just silly stuff. That to me, that's cool. That's thinking outside the box, and you could have some cool stories and tell your friends about that type of stuff. Even if you weren't there, fake it. So check out those graded tickets, or just check out the tickets in general.
Sweet.
What's up, Stein? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I just jumped in here. Sorry, crashed the party.
So did you go? I see that pretty box sitting in the background there.
Yeah, it's still sitting there. I need to bust it at some point.
You survived the 24-hour wait.
And I was. Let me just tell you, when I used to own my own store, it was even harder because, you get a big shipment of new stuff in or whatever, and that's the first thing I want to do is like, oh, I just want to open it. Like, oh no, oops, I got to sell these. I got to sell these packs, make some money.
How long did you own a store for?
97 through 2001, 2. So
Wow.
5 years.
Was that like a brick and mortar store too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Look, the cats are just right there.
So was it just you? Did you have a couple of you, or what? How'd you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I just had there were some family members and stuff that helped out, so I didn't have to stay there all the time or whatever. But yeah, that was still like in eBay's. I mean, it was kind of infancy at that point, but it was better. It was better back then. You could see who actually bid on book or bid on cards and stuff like that, because it would tell you, every single person's user ID and stuff like that, rather than now it's blocked and you can't tell if anybody's. You can't leave. You have no idea if people are bidding things up, but then you could tell because it was always the same person.
So one of the things that I always wondered, especially with card store owners, was, in that time when eBay kind of took over, is back before eBay. I remember a lot of those owners would just stack, commons, monster boxes of commons, and people would come in to fill sets. Did you still do that, or was that kind of something that just wasn't even necessary at that point?
Oh no, I had tons of commons and stuff like that. People build sets. I think they still do. It's just, I mean, it's a pain in the butt to carry them around because those things weigh, 30 pounds a piece, and you may sell, 10 commons out of it and get, make a buck for, for all that work. It's not worth it, but
no, it was so much work. I remember when I was a kid, my local store used to pay us, in packs to come up there and sort, just because he hated sorting so much. And, that's where a lot of those guys made their money, on filling sets for people wanting to fill sets, because back then that's all it was, is base sets. You didn't have the inserts. And now base sets are like 1 to 100 if you're lucky. So it's really easy to complete a set. So
check this out, boys. We were talking about it in chat. I put it on the side. WrestleMania 3 ticket stub, dude, from the Silver Dome when Andre slammed slammed Andre.
Perfect example. That right there that's great.
It just sold. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna shoot it in the. If it lets me. Oh, I can't do it because the chat's it's over the limit of 200. But
I'll send it, man.
It's over $165. Can you believe that? That's it.
No,
that's cheap.
that's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. There's
Let
some.
me send it in the chat. I got the URL shortener.
Yeah. Oh, cool. You the man, dude. Look at you.
I know.
Yeah. That's why I got you. So basically, yeah. So it's March 29th, 1987, Sunday at 4 p.m. I lived in Detroit, Pontiac. My grandma lived like a block away from the Silverdome. It was distraughtful that we didn't go to WrestleMania 3 because it wasn't even sold out. They had to like give away tickets to make it look sold out back in the day.
Yeah, but how were you then? Like what, 3, 4?
I was 2. I was 2 or 1. I was 1.5 maybe. Back in the day. Yeah. My cousin was 2 years older than me. He would have been like 4. Yeah, we grew up watching. I mean, that was our heyday. I mean, we watched so much WrestleMania and pay-per-views because of that Silverdome thing. Oh my goodness. I mean, the Attitude Era. We can talk about wrestling in other podcasts. I could go in years about this. So,
is the Silverdome still standing, or do they tear it down finally?
It's okay. The last time I haven't been to Pontiac in a while, but the last time they imploded it, and I think they sold it off, and I think they're gonna make it into like buildings. I did think they finally demolished it. Finally, they were selling seats and stuff. You could buy a seat from the Silverdome. That was cool.
Yeah, they did the same thing when they tore the vet down.
Yeah. Like number 20 on the number 20 because obviously Barry Sanders, like the old blue seats. Like number 20 was a big number. 1 was a big number. 13. So.
They did the same for Joe Lou, right? They sold a lot of those seats.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't buy a Joe Louis seat, but I mean,
for a hockey barn, man, it doesn't get much better than that.
I don't know. I mean, Dan Pierce always tells me about Joe Louis. Yeah, Joe Louis. I don't know. I mean, I had nostalgia. Joe Louis. I mean, going to the Little Caesars Arena now is ridiculously nice. I mean, Joe Louis smelled like just old time hockey and beer and bad odors and stuff. But nowadays, I mean, Little Caesars is really nice, man.
That's the way the Spectrum was.
Oh, it was terrible.
Spectrum. It was so crowded, man.
Oh, dude, the bathrooms like in Little Caesars, like you don't even have to wait. That's the best part. There's like 85 million bathrooms in there. Like Joe Louis, if you didn't go like before, like midway through the period, and you went around when the period ended, or like actually, it was terrible.
Yeah, that's the way the Spectrum was. There was one concourse for the whole friggin' thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been to Little Caesars. I was kind of spoiled. I've been to like. I'm going the 14th for Valentine's Day again, so it'll be a cool experience. So.
You're going to see a hockey game, right?
Yeah, I don't even know who they play. I bought tickets and don't even know. It's not bad.
They're actually out here in Phoenix. They're retiring Shane Doan's sweater. So,
Shane Doan.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that dude. I feel so bad that they didn't give him a chance to win a cup the last couple of years, but they're doing something cool. Him and Jerome McGinley are best friends. They grew up together, and they're actually retiring both their numbers. Calgary's retiring McGinley's number in February, and Phoenix is doing Doan's. So
I got Ottawa. That's where we're playing the Senators.
Yeah, they're gonna retire Doan's when they're playing Winnipeg. So that'll be pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Looks like Paul's having a problem.
Paul. Well, Paul. Oh.
Paul's problems live.
Yeah. So I guess the return of I guess would you call it a store variants?
Yeah, a little resurgence this weekend, huh?
Yeah, we had Harley Quinn by Frankie's a Virgin, and Sabrina Stadium Comics, the Hughes cover that was Virgin.
That was beautiful.
Both sold out over the weekend, and are commanding big money on eBay. I don't know if is the Harley Quinn Frankie's demanding big money. I know the Sabrina is.
Yeah, the Sabrina is up over 200. Right?
Yeah, it's like 250, 300. I've seen 350 scale sometimes.
Every once in a while, I mean, and I think what you see here is because I think the Sabrina's is limited to 500, right?
Yes.
If you go smaller,
it's sold out in what, 20 minutes or something?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes.
And then FOMO kicks in, and that's what drives up these prices.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, and kind of Hughes, we kind of talked about Hughes mailing it in. Like, he didn't mail it in there, I don't think,
Yeah, he I think he did really, really well with that one.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about how Hughes kind of mails it in and stuff like that. I think, like you said.
All those guys do, because they do so much, especially now with all the variants. I mean, they do so much work that you got to mail it in once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one, I mean, remember he did that one. He drew that, 2 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that was for something else.
Yeah.
I think it was a sketchbook, right?
No, it was supposed to be a cover.
So Archie
They were supposed
cover?
to,
Yeah,
yeah, they were supposed to do. I think they were supposed to do a Sabrina series 2 years ago, and they canceled it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Archie kind of imploded for a while, right?
Probably.
Matt King says an old sketch from Hughes. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, rarity and a good cover. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, not every, I mean, that wouldn't mean every variant on the planet that comes out would be big money. It just never happens. I mean, we talk about variants all the time. It's the same thing. It's like, you know, it's like Spider Gwen, or Spider Ghost or Ghost Spider, or whatever. It's, you know, it's like,
well, for every hit, there's probably 100 misses.
Oh, for sure. And it happens every week, man. I mean, every week happens like that. So
yeah, I think I don't. Dan Piercy just brought up Tech 1000. I'm not sure there's going to be any books worth buying there.
I honestly, I don't mind that. I sent it in our little group chat. I don't mind that Tech 1000 art germ. I like it actually because it has 3 relevant characters and a Birds of Prey kind of thing going on. But I mean, the rest of them, yeah, like you said, I thought about me and Wood were talking about. I was talking about buying a couple, and Wood's like, because he said Action Comics 1000 didn't do anything.
Overprint it.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if actually I mean, the other problem too is it's Tech and Superman. Like going back to Action Comics, I mean, story would order 1,000.
I'm getting a couple of 1930s variant because that one looks really cool.
Yeah.
Him and Robin taking on the KKK.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
I mean, it's just a lot of these variants. If you really, you want a hot one, you buy it to buy it. But if you're trying to catch the ones that catch lightning, you're almost better off just waiting till they catch a little lightning and pay overpriced for a while because the number you put in to lose on is so high.
Yeah.
That Tech Art Germ variant, it looks cool to me just because it doesn't look like Art Germ. Am I off on that? It kind of, I mean, it has the old look, but even the actual.
Well, let's ask Mr. Stein, the Art Germ collector.
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks well, I mean, because he's got 2 versions, right? He's got one that does look like his. It's more modern look.
Yes.
And then the one with the old Tech logo, and that one looks way more retro and doesn't look like his art. I mean, you can tell it's his art, but it's not the same coloring or.
Do you think you should go? Do you think you should go back to that? Like, do you think you should get away from doing Art Germ as Art Germ and go back to like maybe
if you've seen some of his charcoals that he's done, they're incredible. He did like a Ronda Rousey and a Gal Gadot. They're gorgeous, and they don't look anything like. They don't have that anime, manga, look at all to them. Yeah. If he put some of those out, ooh, man.
Well, do we? I guess it's kind of like I always think about like hip hop and stuff like that when it comes to comic book artists. Like, are people scared to go away from like we talk about with Campbell all the time too? Are people scared to go away from making money at least on a couple covers, reinvent the wheel for what they're doing? I mean, they could always go back, right? Theoretically, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for them, they got to produce what's going to sell for them, what their customers want.
I mean,
I'm sure they know, especially the guys that sell their own books, they know what people want.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, so Campbell, you tell me Campbell can't draw another lizard, or Campbell can't do something else,
but he knows that if he draws a hot-looking chick, it's going to sell out instantly.
I joked with Stein that Art Germ cover was him doing it in MS Paint just to see if he could do it. That's how it turned out.
That's
because it's totally not his style. Like, what did he use? His left hand instead of his right hand, or what? I mean, he looks gorgeous. I'm not trying to knock him in that sense, but it's totally different. And that's a good thing.
We should talk to Ben and have Paul do a variant for Tech 1000. Try to get it made.
It is kind of weird though seeing those internet store variants kind of catching heat again, considering how bad they fell off. And
I'd like you said, I think if they have a solid plan, it's all about planning, right? If they had a solid plan and they had rarity and a good cover, I think that anything can sell.
They charging $20.
Yeah, I mean it was cheap too. It wasn't like they were charging like $100 for like a 3-pack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the artists now are kind of taking over that, you know, that job to where the stores can't really do it because the artists are doing it for themselves, which is, yeah, that too.
yeah.
So the artists are kind of taking that fire away from, you know, Frankie's and stuff like that. I'm surprised that.
Here, Gino.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see this. This was from.
I'll present to you. Yep, go.
Okay. All right. This is from.
Shit.
That's his charcoals.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah. See, why doesn't he just do that?
I don't know.
Do you think he's slipped into a comfort zone?
I mean, I'm sure
it's called money.
Yeah, I'm sure charcoals probably take way longer than his digital art.
So maybe that's the difference, is that the digital is quick and easy.
I would think. I mean, I would think those charcoals probably take forever to do.
Plus, you messed up in charcoal, you probably got to start over. You mess up digitally, you just click on do it.
Those charcoals are more reminiscent of like the Batgirl and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Have that vibe.
I mean, what I would like to see people do is let's do like Art Germ, do one cover a year, right? Just straight charcoal, you know what I'm saying, or something of that nature. Like even like, you know, I mean, these guys are making money. Let's not fool ourselves. I mean, are they retiring? No, but I mean, maybe Campbell is because he's making 1 million covers. But I mean, I don't know. That's my whole thing. Is like, let's step out of the box for a month. Okay. You don't sell out every comic on the planet, but you're still getting paid, right? I mean,
Theoretically.
So well, and I don't know. I mean, I floated this idea, and I don't know why some of the publishers don't go to it. But I floated this idea of basically, you know, kind of making variants like baseball, like the baseball card packs.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Take all, you know. So let's say we're, you know, what was Spider-Man at number 30 or something like that. And you're gonna have 5 variants. Well, make some of them, you know, crazy rare. Serial number them to 100. Serial number some to 500. Serial number some to 1,000, and then make just some that are kind of all over the place. Polybag every variant. Sell them to the stores. They don't know what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is sell all the variants for cover price, and somebody could pull a variant, you know, some really ridiculous, you know, like the let's say, you know, if it was, you know, this Tech 1000 or something like that. Let's say that there was some of these variants were only numbered to 100.
Like a Harley Little Black Book did kind of in the poly.
Yeah, I mean, what about the Walking Dead, like the image ones?
Well, yeah, and they kind of went that direction, but what they screwed up on that was they only had 4 covers, and so once you kind of got those 4 covers, you were done. You're not going to go back and buy them again.
Nothing else to chase, yeah.
Right. You serial number some of these to 100, and even if 30 people pull them up front, over time, those things sitting in the back bins, people are going to keep buying those. They're going to see those and be like, "Oh, I still got a chance to get this, you know, this Art Germ numbered out of 100." Yeah. And I'll buy it. I mean, so for the stores, it would be great because they would be able to sell all kinds of variants.
There too.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I don't know why Marvel, DC, even some of the independents don't. I mean, I think Dynamite's got some great artists. I mean, they've got Mayhew doing the Vampirellas. I mean, they've got some great artists. I mean, they could really make some of those really hard to get. I just don't see why they don't incorporate some of that and make it more of a. I mean, it's kind of unfair the way it's set up as it is, where if you know the store owner, you can get it. If you get there at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, you can get it, and so it's like it inherently. It's kind of like, you know, the Beanie Babies back in the day. You know, if you got to, you know, the little knick-knack store, as soon, you know, line up outside before they're open, you can get it. But if you put them all in polybags, put all the variants in polybags, charge cover price, you know, let the dealers sell out of them at cover price. They don't care if they're getting.
And it's have an agreement with CGC that, hey, they're serial numbered and they're legit, and you don't get a green label, you get a blue label. And
yeah, I don't see the downfall on it.
You remember Dynamic Forces? They used to do the numbered stuff. I mean, they didn't do the poly bag, but a lot of their stuff was numbered. And I think some of that stuff kind of is hard to find. I know, like the Harley Quinn Dynamic Forces #1. Yeah, they're signed.
The Vampirella Moneras are big money still. I mean, Dynamic Forces. I mean, we sold out some of those. I mean, that's big money. And my cat's playing with his golf ball.
Ben, I would buy more modern comics and more variants if it was like that.
I think so. I think a lot. I mean, me personally, I would. I mean, if I just the thought of. I mean, remember back what was it, 3 years ago or whatever, when they did those sketches for what was it, sex criminals or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
people went wild with them.
Yeah, they were buying them. I mean, and I bet now, even if you could still find them polybagged where you didn't know, I'm sure that they would still sell. And those were for, I mean, things that, you know, that people don't really collect that much.
But if novelty thing, yeah.
Right. But if you put actual books that were, actually serial number to 100, I mean, you see what some of these sports cards, what dollar amounts they bring, and what old wax, from 6 years ago might bring, just because there's still that really remote chance that, hey, I might still be able to pull that 6 years later and be able to cash in on it. And if I don't get it.
I mean, and to be honest with you, like, even if you saw those sex criminals ones, I mean, at $1 a pop at a con after 7 months goes by, I mean, some dealer's just gonna blow it out and be like, here's $1, and here's your chance.
Well, another cool thing with that is that a lot of these grading companies, they keep track of what's been pulled and what hasn't. So, like with the cards, you still know there might be 10 Brady playoff contenders rookies that are still sitting in wax out there somewhere. So you have a chance at them. So I mean, if they kept the numbers and how many have been pulled of those special variants, that some of them are still chilling in some of those polybag variants. So you still have a chance at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish somebody had connections.
I wish they would have the foresight, because they would sell a lot.
I think so. I really do.
And then
even if I could talk to some, like I said, like the Dynamites, that have some of these really good, artists that are actually popular, I would love to float that idea to them and be like, hey,
maybe you could talk to the Aftershock.
Coffin Comics. I know they're numbering, but maybe they've already got an idea with the numbering, so that'd be cool to talk to them.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see like the glow in the dark version, the foil version, the red foil version.
Well, I mean,
rainbows.
It's kind of like that in cards. I mean, but if you serial number them low enough, they're collectible. I think
people would go nuts.
Especially if you get 1 out of 4. Like, say you got #1. Like, we'll say to Sabrina Hughes, right? Say he serialized those. I mean, how many people would go rabid if they got #1 out of 500? I mean, that would be premium in itself.
Yeah, Matt King also made the point that sometimes limited can be bad too, and that's the truth. You need the real numbers, and you need to know what's actually out there, because what's limited to you could be 100,000 issues to us. So
hey, I've said this before, that serial numbering saved the sports card market. It saved it.
Yes.
If they did not switch to it, and honestly, with the number of variants that are out there, yes, there's been a couple here and there that with the Campbell, that San Diego Comic-Con one, the Wolverine, they numbered it out of 1,000, and it's serial number on the book, or maybe it was in the bag or something like that. But I mean, they really, really, really need to consider doing that long-term collectability. People are going to get tired of these things. These people saying, "Oh, well, there's about this many," and then all of a sudden, 6 months later, 400 more show up, and nobody really knows. People are going to get really tired of that and really, really ticked off about it at some point.
Well, I know back to the card world, Upper Deck really took a hit when they were talking about how limited those first 89 baseball sets were, and it kind of came out a couple of years later how they were sitting on boxes of cards. So it can ruin companies too. But yeah.
What's next?
What else we got going on?
Has the price of today's comics made the hobby too expensive for kids?
Yes.
I don't have kids, so I always easier.
I mean, I don't. If we're talking the stuff that comes out every week, I mean, maybe not, because I mean, if they don't need the variant, I mean, first prints usually don't go for too much, cover price.
Are we talking like, I guess, how old are kids? Are we talking like kids comics, like My Little Pony comics? Or are we talking like the kids section of comics? Or are we talking like real deal comics?
I think we're probably talking like 10 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I would say, kids trying to get key issues, yeah, they're definitely priced out of the back issue market.
Yeah.
But I'd say the newer stuff, I mean, there's probably more access to it now.
You do think kids are reading comics nowadays? Or are they reading digital? You think they're going digital? You think?
I can't think of the last time I saw young kids, when I was going every Wednesday in the comic store. If they were there, they were only there because of, Yu-Gi-Oh cards or, Magic Gathering or something like that.
I don't know. The last few, I mean, most of the time when I go in, I see kids and they're looking for the Flash. They're looking for Batman. I do see them buying them. I don't know if I'm assuming that they're reading them, but I don't know that for sure. But
or they're just there with their parents.
I don't know. Maybe they are, but they seem to want to look. So they must have some interest in it rather than just standing over the corner going, I want to go home.
Z, what do you think about this? You have kids in that kind of range. I mean, do you think that today's comics are too expensive for kids as a hobby? I mean, you're in like a 10 to 14 range, right? I mean,
I'm 6 to 10, but I tell you what, they start coming to the shop with me. It gets expensive for me to even buy them books.
Yeah, it's not expensive for the kids. It's expensive for you. Because you're buying it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not taking their allowance, because they would be like, it'd be broke one book.
Well, and then the thing, like, how are they treating them? It's not like us where we're like not reading them or we're slightly reading them. I mean, they bang them around, right? I mean,
I encourage them to read, and when I had the pile of books down here, I'm like, whatever you want to read, go ahead and take and read it. I don't care. But I don't think it's a tough hobby for them to be into. Like, I buy them books whenever. My oldest one reads a lot, like regular books. So if I can pick up some trades cheap, I throw them towards him. But he's not going to go pick up single issues for $5. It's nuts.
Yeah.
He reads a comic in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the digital age has also made them more likely to not want to repeat things. Like, they don't even watch the same show twice. We grew up watching, Star Wars 48 times and, the same 3 episodes of G.I. Joe over and over and over again. They don't do that.
I used to burn out VHS tapes.
Yeah, and comics, you'd have 20 of them when you were a kid. You get one out of Spinner Rack week, and finally you get decent running. You'd read them over and over and over, and they just don't do that. So the entertainment value and time value is low for the price. Yeah, I think a kid that has access to it easy and can afford to get into it, but I don't see it as a common kid thing.
Yeah,
they like the memorabilia, they like the toys, they like the stuff associated, but the actual books themselves, I think, is a little bit disconnected. I got one that barely reads them. He will once in a while. He got into Bloodshot for some god awful reason.
Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious, brother.
I don't know. He saw one, and I had the run from that collection, and I let him have it. He probably shouldn't have. He's too young, but I was encouraging the hobby. The little one just collects shark covers or cool covers that he likes. But he
cover, man, with a shark on it. Come on, man.
This whole hobby's getting expensive too, but I pick those up, but I go to the shop with him, and I'm like, here's the dollar bins. Dig through the dollar bins, see if you can find some sharks or dinosaurs or whatever you're looking for. But he's not looking for characters for the most part.
Here's kind of a cool story. My uncle taught himself to read via the Sunday comics. And so I know some guys in the chat are talking about free comic book day and, bringing their nephews and things with them to the store. So I sometimes, depending on how much your kid or your nephew or whoever is into it, sometimes that cost is worth it if they're actually learning to read and learning to love it. But I always thought that was cool that my uncle taught himself how to read from the Sunday comics back when.
Yeah, I guess not having kids, I don't pay attention to it much, but I know these people, there's, it is the truth. Free comic book day can, show you where the kids are for sure. There's lots of them, and they're going crazy on those days, but I don't know, it just felt like when I was younger, every day at the comic book store, it was kids everywhere grabbing books, but I don't know.
I don't ever see them at the shop, and I tend to go on like Saturdays and Sundays because I can't go during the week. But maybe that's not where they're buying them. Maybe they are buying them at, the Barnes & Noble or the wherever the heck they're selling them. I don't know. They're just not as around.
I know when I first got into comics, it wasn't at the comic shop. It was when the Keaton Batman first came out, and going to Toys R Us, they would have like the 5-packs of the Batman books at the time, and I would just buy 5 or 6 of those 5-packs for a couple bucks, and that turned into going to the comic shop. So now kids, they're spending a lot of their time probably watching, like they're watching unboxing videos on YouTube. There's a lot of guys that show the history of this comic character or this whatever, and they're showing the comics. So maybe that's a way into it. So.
And people in the chat are talking about how pops are hooks for kids now, and like even loot boxes, like like you see those like there's like, I don't even know what they're called. They're like little egg things you open up, and like you get different things and like eggs and stuff like that. Like people love that stuff. Like like kids love that stuff because it's like you don't know what you get kind of thing, and I don't know. I mean,
yeah. In the chat, my buddy Matt from Absolute Geek just made a good point. That was a big deal this week or last week was, being able to pick up the books at Walmart is a huge deal. So that's
unless they have Lois Lane getting murdered.
Yeah, that's true. But
well,
that's
I like
pretty...
that idea, but I don't know why they went with the $5 comic. I think it would be smarter for them to do like a $2 comic.
Yeah.
Go for volume sales.
Yeah, and like you said, $2, and they can crush 1,000 issues instead of $5 and do 100. Whatever the runs are.
But those it's $5, but it's basically like 4 issues in that one comic. So they're really like a bucket. It's like they're buying 4 because it's got 3 old stories and then 1 new. So.
Well, I get that they're getting a lot of bang for their buck, but you can't they're not getting the joy of the spinner rack where there's 25 issues and 20 different covers, and the ones you just like, I need that one. I've never read that comic before, but I need that one. They don't get that experience.
Matt King just brought up a really good point that blew me away when I looked at it and saw it, is that there's no Saturday morning cartoons anymore. And I know a lot of us, that was for me and for a lot of kids, people my age, waiting for Saturday, waking up Saturday early. There was very few days that you look forward to waking up early to see the new G.I. Joe or to see, Mr. T and, whatever.
X-Men after school, Batman pictures. I mean, the other problem too is like, I think at least in our era, like, I mean, you had adult kind of like cartoons that could last a lifetime, I mean, Dora the Explorer, when you get past, or whatever you're listening to now, Bob the Builder, it's like there's no adultness to it, what I'm saying? It'd be like, it's like Shrek the movie, right? I mean, Shrek lives on because, adults find some jokes that were kind of hidden that were over kids' heads kind of thing. I mean, same thing with Batman. It was dark, but I mean, it's still like Batman. That's cool because Batman, but I mean, there's like a deeper sense of it.
I remember coming home every day from high school, getting off early, and going back to our friend's pad to catch the old school reruns of that Batman cartoon. And as 15, 16-year-old kids just loving it. because it was so dark and it was a cartoon. So that kind of broke the mold. But I think Nickelodeon still, or maybe still not, but they kind of had that in the 90s and the late 90s, maybe early 2000s with some of the cartoons they had going.
Oh, with Doug and Rocco's Modern Life and all those people.
Yes, those were great cartoons too. But
I don't know. I watch my kids' cartoons. I don't know. They're getting out of the really young ones, but I mean, I used to spend my time going, how much of this episode is reused, scenes and voice, thing where it's just the repetitive, we're going to do this, and then we do this, and then we do this scene, and of a 18-minute cartoon, only about 6 minutes is new material each episode. The rest of it's just the repeated, whatever event in that cartoon.
I think Teen Titans does it well, though. I mean,
yeah, they're not as bad. It's just a lot of those Nickelodeon ones and Disney ones. They're real formulatic and real. Just repeat that scene over and over and over.
I agree.
Real quick, just so I can throw these in there. I know I've been talking. Last show I talked about the cards, the XRC cards and the pre rookie card market and all that stuff. I wanted to talk about a few more that I have in my collection that people might enjoy. We talked about the Miami Hurricanes cards with the Rock and the Ray Lewis and the Warren Sapp pre-rookies, and a couple of these are the same kind of company that did it, or same type of thing. Big shout out to Big Leg out there for being the Tim Hardaway fan. This is a UTEP card that they did for Tim Hardaway. That's not super tough to find, but I really, you can see Drug Emporium on there, and that's who sponsored the cards back then. And Seven Together, Guinness printing companies out of El Paso made the card, and you can see the back of the card. And to me, these are the type of cards that I'm talking about. Just tough to find, cool stuff that wasn't mass produced, and especially in good condition. This right here is one of my favorite all-time examples of that card. And be careful out there because there are reprints that are counterfeit. But this is the Florida Gators Burger King Emmitt Smith. That Burger King's game out, in 1988 for the Florida Gators college team, and it had the Emmitt Smith pre-rookie on there. And for all you card fans and Emmitt Smith fans, we all know about the 1990 score supplemental set that had the, probably the best Emmitt Smith rookie out the bunch. You had the action-packed rookie and the Fleer update rookie. But to me, this is the Emmitt Smith card to have. I have these two that I'm probably going to try and send in to get graded. One of them isn't in the best condition, but the other one is very nice. And they were produced by McDag Productions. So all you guys out there that are looking to get one of these, make sure that you know what you're looking for. It's kind of cool because on the back, you can see it talks about, not drinking and all kinds of funny stuff, that if you played for the U, might be a little bit different. So.
What was the pharmacy thing about? Was that just where they were, like local pharmacy where they were distributed, or?
Yeah. So the Drug Emporium is like a Walgreens, but that's for this is for the Tim Hardaway card. It was sponsored by Drug Emporium, whereas the Emmitt Smith one was sponsored by Burger King. So they basically paid the company to produce them, and they got a little logo on there. And just a real quick couple more. We all know that some of our favorite football stars got their start in the Canadian Football League. Jeff Garcia, Rocket Ishmael was in the played for the Toronto Argonauts. But Warren Moon, to me, is one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. He played for Edmonton in the Canadian Football League. There's two cards that are available of his that are everybody wants. This is one of them. It's an oversized card that was given out, printed in Canada. But the other one is by Jogo, who is kind of like the top producer of cards. It's a regular size card. It's a color edition, and that's a very tough card to find. I'm still looking for one for a decent price. But this is when he was a fourth-year pro in in playing for Edmonton in the Canadian Football League. And for all you UFC fans, the Wrestling Hall of Fame puts out a set. The Dan Gable Hall of Fame for wrestling puts out a set, and the first set had some really cool cards of Randy Couture and Dan Henderson, which is basically impossible to find. Every once in a while, I'll see a couple show up on eBay, and I'll never be able, never catch them just right. But I did pick up a couple sets when they released their second set, which had Ben Askren in there. And I think everybody that follows UFC knows about Ben Askren now. He's kind of their new stud right now coming over. He should have been in the UFC a long time ago. He's kind of boring if you like exciting knock 'em out fights, but I think this guy is one of the best MMA fighters to ever be in the octagon. So
he got Khabib Fro going, kind of.
Yes, he does. And the last three are kind of cool for hockey fans. These are Russian rookie cards, and I talked about the XRC, which means pre-rookies. That you can get the ERC, which are European rookies, and in Russia they have the team type cards, and this is an Evgeny Malkin rookie card. Yeah, that's very tough to find, and the material on the card isn't the greatest, so the condition is very tough to find. It's all in Russian. That's his rookie card. A lot of people don't realize that Evgeny Malkin was drafted the year before Ovechkin, but didn't start playing till the year after. And here are two of my favorite cards. These are my Ovechkin Russian rookies. And really cool. You can see the back of these, and you can see how young Ovechkin was when he was playing in the Russian Hockey League. He's there at like 16. Let's see if we can get that to focus in on, maybe.
Now, do you like those cases better than top loaders?
Well, Stein will know this. I keep everything that I'm getting ready to send to PSA in these cases, because PSA will only accept cards in these card savers.
Really?
Yeah. So everything that I have a chance of sending to PSA, I will put in these. And that's kind of my stuff that I'm getting ready to send to PSA. They will only accept cards in these, other than the thick
jersey cards and stuff.
Jersey cards, yeah. This is Ryan McDonough, the Cup rookie, where it's you can see how thick it is, and you can't really put that in a 10-cent card saver. But card savers are nice for bulk submissions. They weigh very little, and they call them 10-cent card savers because they're really that cheap. So yeah, so there's the XRC card watch for this show.
So speaking of cards, we got Mr. Stein. We are busting a box, first one, right?
Yep.
On the show. I can't wait for this.
Oh, it could be bad. It could be really bad. All right.
What do we got?
How it could be bad, I guess. So
it could be either. Could be. I mean, it could be junk. All right. So what we got? We got a box of 2018, 2019. I almost called it Leaf certified because back in the day it was Leaf certified.
Yeah, Panini's got everything.
Panini owns everything now, so it's now it's Panini. But I almost I think I called it Leaf certified, but I guess this is the first time they've been back for a while. So, anyways, got 10 packs in a box, 5 cards a pack, 2 guaranteed autographs, and 1 memorabilia card in the box. So we're just gonna go and bust it real quick. I'll try and see if I can shift this down. See a little bit better.
When's the last time you broke a box?
I busted a box of Bowman Chrome baseball. Just I don't know, a couple months ago. Which these were the big highlights from that were not much. Some guy, Chris Torres, refractor autograph. James Nelson autograph, and I did get an Ohtani refractor.
Wow.
But it's not an autograph, so it's not that great or anything like that. But All right, so I'll try and hold these up so everybody can see. All right, so we got 10 packs here in the box.
A lot of empty space.
Yeah. The same thing.
Yeah. All right, so we'll just
bag of potato chips.
all right, so we'll just go ahead and start busting here. See what we got.
Pack number 1.
Yep. All right, so we've got nothing. I guess I don't know if that's a rookie or not. I don't. Miles Bridges, whoever that is. This is a jersey card of Troy Brown Jr. He's a Wizard. I don't know if that's a rookie or not.
Tim.
Yeah, that one's numbered out of 149.
It's the only thing I don't like about like breaking sports cards. You're like, yeah, I got an awesome card, and it's like, who is this guy?
Right. Yeah, these are you're trying to get Luka Doncic. Is going to be.
Is that really the only card you're looking for, right?
Pretty much.
Be a decent pool.
What's his name? Trey Young. Have no idea what that is. Some funky insert.
It's almost like a leaf metal type of insert, huh?
Here's like I guess it's almost like yeah, there's pretty much nothing in there. Jim Butler, something looks like a refractor, but it's not numbered.
Now the basketball is basketball like the best one to get into? Because it seems like the prices on basketball cards are through the roof.
Oh, there's a big Jack Sigma autograph.
Hall of Famer who's probably not that big of a deal, huh?
Nope, I wouldn't think so.
Uh,
Old Jack Sigma. Wow, that's like really old school. All right, so really nothing there.
I bet you when they called him to sign some cards, that was like, you know,
like, whoa.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest things.
How much do you think they get for signing?
Somebody like him, probably $25 a card or $20 a card, something like that.
There's a Kyrie Irving refractor that's numbered out of 99.
Oh, nice.
Not bad.
Something or another.
Yeah, there's those cards don't look too bad. Some of the base sets actually look pretty nice.
Yeah, they look nice. This looks like a jersey card. Nope. That was a fake.
Ben, when you owned a store,
yeah.
Let's say you just, you gave in a temptation, you broke a box yourself like this. So what do you do with the cards that you're like, I don't know what this is, or it's a 25-cent card, or is it the equivalent of back issue bins, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of throw them in a box. You might, probably anything that's any rookie card you at least put in a penny sleeve. That way, if they do, pop up later, you at least got it penny sleeved and it's not going to be damaged. All the rest of them, they can just kind of sit in a box. And then like Brian was saying, there are people that build sets still. Yeah, so far it's pretty much absolute nothing. I got 4 packs left.
What did the box cost you?
I think these sell for like right around 100 for a box.
You are not nearly as efficient as the break I watched.
I'm not nearly as efficient.
They were just flying through packs.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking at them. There's a LaMarcus.
Like he knew exactly where the card was, and boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, I could burn through these really fast. You can pretty much just, like I said, unless you actually pull.
You're just looking for the number.
Yeah, those are really going to be the ones. Here's a Michael Porter Jr. autograph.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
That's definitely a hit. Yeah, he was supposed to be a #1 pick. I remember they were forecasting him as the #1 pick at the beginning of that year, and then he had a back injury or something, right?
Yeah, and I think he's decent.
Yeah.
But this year it's all about, Doncic, but
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen with some of these guys.
there is a rookie here. I did get a rookie that's numbered at a 49. It's a Piston. There you go. Kyrie Thomas.
Nah,
Beautiful.
I don't know who it is.
no, yeah, the Pistons are just terrible.
Yeah, that Porter card wasn't too bad.
No, like I said, I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get anything great. I just kind of wanted to get something to open up or whatever. And another rookie, some Laker. Moritz. What? I don't know who that is.
He's gonna get traded to the Pelicans soon.
Probably.
He's gone.
Some Laker.
And then is that I'm assuming that must be somebody's brother with Casas Ante Tokum, however you say it. Is that Giannis's brother?
That could be Giannis's brother. Antetokounmpo or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's just a regular rookie. Anyway, so that's so out of that box, I got the 2 autographs and the one. Like I said, I don't know if these. It's probably not much. I mean, basically, probably. So if I spent $100 on the box, I probably lost $70 off that.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's definitely gambling. That's for sure. It's gambling for kids.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose more often than you win.
You are. You're looking for the big hit.
Not only do you need a big hit, you need the hit to be a good player.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, but sometimes you get lucky and you pull a Jordan autograph or a Gretzky autograph or something crazy. I remember I forget which Topps run it was where they were putting cut autographs of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and that was like 10 years ago. They started putting cut autographs of those presidents in there that were one of ones and stuff like that. So you never know what's going to happen.
All right, so there we go. That was a box. Hopefully we have a chance to open up more boxes live.
Yeah.
She scratched an itch for a few people.
Yeah, it's fun just to watch. I mean, I was telling you guys yesterday that that's what the guy at the card shop was saying, how much has changed. That he used to not like people that busted boxes or did box breaks, but now it makes it better for him. Because everybody just want their video on YouTube to get a bunch of hits, and so they're busting all kinds of boxes, and then nobody has any boxes left because they're opening all of them. Didn't used to be like that. It used to be you go to shows. I mean, there'd be tables full of boxes just stacked to the ceiling, but everybody's busting them now. So.
Then people get crazy when they see that stuff. Like, oh, I pulled a Luka Doncic, rookie autograph or whatever it is. And then people trying to go emulate that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it looks like that Porter. It looks like one of those Porters sold for $25-$30, something like that. So that's a decent card.
Yeah, and if he's as good as they thought before the back injury, and back injury is pretty bad in basketball, but it's pretty amazing what they're doing nowadays with
just go to Germany. Just go to Germany like Kobe did.
Yep, there you go. Get that Regenikine and
just get that special serum, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Same shit they gave Steve Rogers.
Yeah, yeah. So our last topic for tonight. It's we really don't deal in the politics too much, but Bill Maher kind of released a statement, and Scotty Too Hottie is he's fired up on this.
Some Regan rage.
Some Regan rage. This is great. This is gonna be good times.
Well, let me just say I don't like the guy to begin with. And I don't know. I don't really care for him at all.
Okay.
But he came out with a comment. He said something. I don't remember what the comment was. He said something about Stan Lee and how people shouldn't be mourning him. What do you say? Deep mourning for a man who inspired millions to do, I don't know, watch a movie, I guess.
Yeah,
and he got some flack for that.
And then he doubled down on it when he said, "I'm not glad Stan Lee is dead. I'm glad that you're alive," aka the comic book readers.
And
So.
here's the whole quote here. I am agnostic on Stan Lee. I don't read comic books. I didn't even read them when I was a child. What I was saying is a culture that thinks comic books and comic book movies are profound mediations on the human condition is a dumb fucking culture. And for people who get mad at that, it just proves my point. It's like, you've never read a comic book, so how the fuck can you say anything about them?
But if you went and shit on something that he likes or he's into, you'd be in hot water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would love to send him a copy of like Mouse or something like that and say, here you go, make that comment again.
Send them Watchmen. Like, read Watchmen and tell me that it's just for kids and it's not like it can't be existential. Or
I figured out who Bill Maher is. I know exactly who he is.
Mhm.
He is the irritating king on the Bud Light commercials. It's like, oh my that's him. That he thinks he is so much better and smarter than everybody else that nobody else. And I'm like, dude, okay, whatever, man. I see why some people listen to him, because people always want to listen to people that they might agree with, and his whole shtick is to bully people that don't agree with him. So if he thinks that's cool to bully people, then let him do it. I mean, basically nobody's going to listen to him anymore because he just doesn't make any much sense at all.
No, and I mean, like I said, when you say I don't read comic books, I didn't even read them when I was a child. Like, so how can you say that they're not any? How you don't even know what they are?
Correct.
Like, so you're a goddamn hypocrite. Like, go fuck off. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like
you said. I mean, like, we could talk about we could list 100 books that he should read that are profound and.
I mean, it's just it's bad because Bill Maher. I mean, he seems like whether you deal with his politics or not. I mean, he's pretty an informed guy. He reads a lot. You know what I'm saying? He seems kind of intelligent, obviously. He's not like, some guy who's just, some dumb guy. You would figure he would have some kind of, and you would figure he would have some kind of factual information or like learn about a topic, and I kind of go back to Rogan, right? Rogan's not the smartest guy in the room, but he's at least informed enough on a certain topic where he can make a decisive vote, but he has fact to base it up with, I mean, it's like me saying, like, I think Michelangelo is dumb and I don't get why everybody likes his paintings. And I've never seen I've never seen his paintings and never, you can't just generalize like that, it's like, so.
Yeah.
So fuck off, Bill Maher.
There you go. That's going to be our title. I'm going to edit our title and put that in the description.
Like I said, I flat out challenge him to read Watchmen. And then I bet you he wouldn't even put the time in.
He probably wouldn't.
Read Dark Knight Returns or fucking V for Vendetta. There's so many friggin' things that you could read though.
Yeah, I think he's basing it on like Spider-Man or just campy stuff from back in the day, like 40s or 50s comics where it was like G. Willikers and
it's a good thing that a guy who makes his money expressing his opinion is very close-minded about things.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah. He loves it because every old people, like a lot of old people at my work, don't understand comics. They just don't get it, and all they say was, I wish I would have collected because it's about money for them. I wish I would have collected them when I was a kid, but they don't understand getting comic books and reading
And here's another thing: who the fuck wants to be an adult?
That's true.
Yeah.
Come on, when you're a kid, that's all you think about is being an adult. But once you learn the truth, and you're like, fuck that, I want to go back to being a kid.
Yeah.
What's wrong with having an escape?
Yeah. That's why we enjoy collecting the things that we collected as a kid, because it reminds us of being a kid again. So I agree. I feel sorry for people that have that mindset. He's probably doing it just to be, to get his name out there and, whatever. But I don't know, especially to make that comment the way he did when somebody like Stan Lee passed away. That was poor taste. So Stanley,
But seriously, if you've ever actually watched his show, everything he does is in poor taste. So
yeah.
I mean, it's really not. He's really Howard Stern is really what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really his whole thing.
Well, and he comes off as an elitist too. So I mean,
Like I said, he's that King Light commercial.
He's a dumb Howard Stern. You know what I mean? At least Howard Stern, could have a good conversation with people. I think that
Howard
you're
Stern
totally
didn't take himself too seriously.
Yes. Bill Maher just I don't know. Yeah.
All right, boys. I think this is a good one, man. We covered a lot. We will be back next Monday as usual. Maybe some box breaking, maybe some cool stuff. I got a side project I'm working on. I'm not gonna let too many people in on it until I do it. Maybe an article, and then I can reveal it. It's gonna be massive. But
send us ideas if you guys want us to touch on something.
Correct. Hit us up in Flipside or hit us up in Hangouts or something.
Hangouts, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we're always around. So boys, good chat. We'll see everybody next week.
Good night.
Thanks
See you.
for listening.